all the bumpers for Toyotas in the country,
Mhm.
said, well, I thought he was going to lose a bunch of our money, but no, I mean, it's actually working. It's really, really kind of an amazing example of doing something you're passionate about and pushing it.
Yeah, and Tony's I wish I would love to have had an hour or two with the guy. I only had about 15, 20 minutes to talk to him. But
Hmm.
I can tell you you feel that passion in his heart when he just starts talking about what he's doing and talking about pro wrestling. And I think that passion translates through to what they're doing on the show. Sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a miss, but I can tell you that this guy will never back down. He is going to push and push and push. And eventually, and you can tell that you're still in the beginning stages of AEW. And they're just starting to do international shows. They're just starting to do
Yep.
house shows. So you're seeing the beginning of another company to go along with WWE that are gonna and they've really forced each other to be better, which
Hmm.
has been so good for us. I think that's been the biggest impact that Tony's had with AEW is, we would sit around and we'd talk on the show about how, yeah, this angle wasn't that good. Oh, geez, WWE's doing this goofy bleh. Eh. And now you see what has happened, that they have really stepped up. And it's exciting to see that. I mean, we're all talking about WWE now. We're all talking about
Yeah.
Sami Zayn. We're all talking about the Bloodline, and and some of the other storylines down the card. And I think that what's happened now is WWE doesn't want to fall behind AEW, and they have the mechanism to do it. So they're really pushing hard. Triple H has done a great job.
Yeah,
Tony's
he has.
pushing behind, and then everybody else is coming up behind them too. You can't even in an if you're running an independent promotion, you can't do a sloppy job, because if you do, everybody's going to see it and they're not going to watch. So you see the companies here in Las Vegas, especially with like I said, I go to a lot of the FSW shows,
Sure.
and they've really stepped up, and they've got so much great talent at FSW, and you can see that they know there's chances now. There's something to work for, and those guys and gals are pushing so hard, and it's absolutely fun to see. And who wins? We do.
Yeah. And you are seeing people from Las Vegas getting those steps up. Is just here, just in the last couple of weeks. The Black Swan from Dark Arts, I think
Hmm.
less than 2 years in from ballet dancing, she had a match on AEW. Jay Vidal signed now with Impact Wrestling. Chris Bay is in Impact. Kenny King wrestling regularly in Impact. Hammerstone, your MLW World Heavyweight Champion. And coming up, it'll air right before this actually airs. But if you go on YouTube and watch the latest AEW Dark Elevation, you'll see three of the four guys who have been, well, I guess you could say, lighting up professional wrestling in the Las Vegas area. Lights, camera, faction, they're going to be on in a six-man match on AEW Dark Elevation, going up against All Ego Ethan Page, Matt Hardy, and Isaiah from Private Party. So
Hmm.
high profile, and they're getting their shot. And you know what? How many wrestlers 15 years ago, 10 years ago would have done almost anything to get a shot to get on national TV, get a match in a national promotion that's growing, and you have a great chance of getting signed. And now it's kind of like an NFL player getting into an exhibition game. You're not just working out for the coach of the team that you're playing for. You get on AEW Dark, you have a good match. You're also working for MLW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, WWE, NXT. Sometimes all you need is that one shot, and it can completely change the course of your life and career.
Yeah, and that's been the fun part about this renaissance in wrestling. It's not just for the fans, it's for the performers too.
Hmm.
Because if you wanted to get somewhere, say the last 7 years before AEW, you'd have to either somehow get on with WWE or maybe go to Japan or catch on with Ring of Honor. And that was
Yeah.
generally it. And now, oh my God, I mean, these these people have so many chances to get out there. And the one thing with Las Vegas being such a great wrestling scene is when Impact comes here, they're going to get people on. You know that
Hmm.
people are getting seen on the pay-per-views like with what FSW does, and they're getting their opportunities. We just had Jay Vidal on. We actually have him on Sports X Radio this week as
Okay.
we're getting ready for that. And I can't begin to tell you how happy I was when I saw Jay, because I hadn't seen him since he'd gotten the Impact contract, and we were just thrilled to death, and he was so happy. And that's a
Hmm.
guy that deserved a chance. I mean, I even said to Ross Foreman when he was here, when he was walking out the door, I said that guy should be sometime down the road your X Division champ. He really should be. He's that talented. And
Yeah.
there's other guys. You mentioned Lights Camera Faction. Matt Vandegrift is a guy that when I watch him perform, just unbelievable. He's got a little bit to do in the promo department, but otherwise, my God, he wrestled one night 3 times,
Yeah.
3 times, and did the last match against Hammerstone, was selling that he was completely beat up, and I was so impressed with Vandegrift. I love the guy to death. I think he's a terrific person, but what he does in the ring is big time, and it's only a matter of time for a guy like that. And people around the country are all getting those kind of opportunities. Just a matter of getting on with the right company and making the right contacts.
Yeah. Vandergriff is tremendous. He has, if you haven't seen him wrestle, if you've seen Darius and Dante Martin or AR Fox, Vandergriff can do similar moves to them. He has
Mhm.
basically any move you can imagine. He's got it in the move set. And, really in that pay per view, he probably didn't have to sell much to come across as being completely beaten down and worn out. 3 matches in one show. That's a lot.
Yeah, and the one thing that I love about watching Matt perform is understands the psychology. He understands how to sell, and a lot of people that when they maybe show up on NXT or so on are still learning that. I
Hmm.
mean, it just comes naturally to Matt. I mean, if you go back and watch that match he had with Hammerstone, I mean, just he was almost perfect. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sitting there watching this and I'm like, am I at a WWE match right now? Because he and Hammerstone were both absolutely incredible. Both those guys, I still can't believe they don't have major contracts with AEW or WWE yet. I can't.